All right, welcome to Somerset Showcase. Today we are going to be talking to a couple of people that a lot of you may know from some of the events they've had around town, Allison Faunce and Mary Kate Murphy. But today we're going to be talking about their newest venture, which is called Art Pop, and sounds like a really cool idea. Can you tell me what Art Pop is and tell me how you came up with the idea for it?
You want to start with where we came up with the idea?
At her kitchen table.
At my kitchen table.
The best ideas seem to start.
Yeah, over coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was winter time and...
Just last year.
Yeah, not just
like
a few
7
months
ago, winter time.
And we were sitting around and, it's getting dark earlier, so it's 4:30 and, the kids are home and they're starting to go on the screens, and I have 3 kids that play sports and I have 1 kid that is not a sports kid. So I was complaining to Allison as a friend, just saying, I wish I had something for her to sign her up for. I wish there were art classes around that it would be perfect. And you were in a similar situation with your son.
Yeah, I have creative kids, and I, last summer took him all the way over into Providence to RISD to take classes, and I just felt like, why do I have to drive this far to find this?
Far and expensive.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Like a great program, but we wish there was something in our community. So, so then we started scheming a little.
And both being very creative types, having both background in the arts, I think it was easy for us to connect on kind of a very loose, organic idea that just felt we need to do this. But the vision, even though the understanding was there, the vision wasn't quite there. But that's why I turned to Mary Kate and I said, okay, I'll do this if you do this.
We talked. You had a grant that you applied for, so that
there was so many things that kind of aligned. It wasn't, even those 2 conversations weren't necessarily in parallel. It was like we just had this need to want this for our kids, and then a need to go, well, if you do it, I'll do it with you. And then I was like, oh, and by the way, I have this grant that I received that I can't figure out what to do. I'm supposed to use it towards a makerspace, and it was like, oh. So
the stars kind of all aligned
there.
That's
how it happened. It literally just kind of popped up.
Right at the coffee table.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the classes you're going to have here.
Go for it.
Well, I want to just say our underlying philosophy, mission of Art Pop is to really focus on process-based art, because so many times you find, art really, most of the exposure kids get to it is in the public school system or some type of structure like that, and where so much focus sometimes is on the finished project and getting it done on time and it looking a certain way, demonstrating a certain knowledge, being graded, being compared to your friend or peer next to you, how you stack up your project to theirs. And so we really wanted to challenge that, or be a supplement to kind of that environment that art is often exposed to children in. And we wanted Art Pop to be a place where kind of rules went out the window a bit. And it doesn't mean that there's not appreciation for skills-based and project learning, but it was more about how the process you have to arrive at where you want to go, and that sometimes mistakes can happen and those end up unfolding into more beautiful options. And so we really knew that was at the core of what we wanted to present to children, an environment where they didn't feel like they had to do this for a grade. They didn't feel like, well, what I make with these materials might look different than the person next to me, and that one is better than the other. And so in so many other environments, the kids are told, and understandably so, that there is a certain way to do something, or one way or one outcome that you should expect. And we wanted to kind of be a little bit of a challenge to that, but more of just an environment to support that that's not there's only one answer. And so
Well, it's art. I mean,
yeah.
You should be able to come up with anything.
Yeah,
right?
and I think it's art, but it's also a mindset and a way of creative problem solving that children can use and carry through so much in their life, whether they go and pursue arts or are an art kid or not. It's a way of thinking that beyond the barriers, and I think that's really the underlying thing that threads itself through everything we do here, and we really attracted the right teachers who have that belief system too. But with that, we do have some structure to our programming.
Yeah, so it's structured by ages. So we have the little kids under 5 that will be doing more sensory art group play groups, and then we have the 3 to 5-year-olds, 6 to 9-year-olds, and 10 to 12-year-olds. And so basically, the classes are based on age, but every day there's a theme, which is based on what materials we're using that day. So Monday we're using textiles, which would be projects like sewing, weaving, stitching. Tuesday are like clay projects, 3-dimensional projects. So things like paper mache, mosaic, clay. On Wednesdays we have paper. So that printmaking, a lot of printmaking. So when we're talking about the ages, you know, some of the older kids could be doing more advanced kind of work, where the little kids might be doing potato block printing or something like that. And then Thursdays we're doing nature materials, and Friday is more color theory sort of stuff. So you'd probably be getting a lot of painting on the Fridays.
And then with that structure and programming, every single day of the week we have what we call our Tinker Bar time. It's an open create sessions where people can literally drop off their kids, or they can stay and create alongside their kids. But it's from 12 to 3 every day, Monday through Sunday. And it's just easygoing drop-in style. We say like we have this what we call the random room of materials. It's basically like a candy shop but for art materials, where we're going to pull from that and we lay out all those materials for the kids to use. And again, underlying philosophy here is like what they are led to create with those materials. We're excited to see, and we have a teacher that leads these, but it's really to just help guide them where they want to go. So that's a great too, like if someone's just trying out the space for the first time and their kids want to see what we're all about, that Tinker Bar time is a great time to just test it out and see how they like it, and then they can sign up for classes if they continue want to do that. But that is for ages 5 and up, and like I said, we encourage families to come in and do the Tinker Bar time together, but you can also just bring a friend. And the cool thing about the space we're in is that we have a lounge here too, so if parents want to come and have coffee, we have a coffee bar with a friend while their two kiddos go and do the Tinker Bar. That's we're really about times for people to engage, like Mary Kate said, even getting kids off their screens, but parents to engage with each other, to meet people in the community. So we really hope this is a hub for a lot more than just what it seems.
The coffee's going to be easy. You're right next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, we're going to be hopefully bringing in a local Mission Cold Brew. Dunkin' is wonderful, and we appreciate them being there, especially because late nights. They're open till 11:30.
We're running
out
Well,
quickly.
I just wanted to segue into your location, because we haven't said that to them yet. So the address here where you're located, you're right off of Route 6. Is,
we're in we've coined the J Pedal Plaza, I think is what people around this area have called it. But we are at 1115 Grand Army Highway in Somerset. We are at the location of the former Bank of America, which I think today we officially achieved that we do not look like a bank anymore.
Bank vibes out.
Yeah.
I would say it looks a lot
A
different.
little different. And so, you'll find us here now, and we'll be here for a bit because we signed a 5-year lease, so we're at least committed that long. But really, again, this was a coffee chat idea that has evolved, and we're creating as we go, and we're going to be responding a lot to the community and the needs. Like, we even have the space in the evenings that other makers and local artisans can rent out to teach their own classes in. So if there wants to be some adult classes, we're all about letting this reflect back the community, and really, again, serving that need for these young budding artists to be in.
Yeah, I mean, even today we had I don't know how many people came through here today, but
Oh my gosh.
how many people mentioned they're interested in sewing classes, which is an idea we've talked about, but it's like, okay, well, that's something that we should definitely provide, because so many people seem interested in it. So that's the kind of thing.
That surprises me. I thought that was kind of a dying thing with.
No,
with
yeah. Well,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's sometimes just the exposure to it. I mean, it takes a lot to have a sewing machine set up. Luckily, I grew up at the feet of my mom sewing. She owned a fabric store, and she was a seamstress. So, like, I learned to sew because I was always around it. But unless you have someone to pass along that trade, it will die off. But that's the beauty of this space, is where, we will have those materials and tools easily accessible, and so we can make that possible here.
Yeah, it's a space and the materials. That's where and permission. We're giving you those things, and then you can take it. It's up to you to take it from there. But we have a lot of good teachers to help along the way too.
And you have several different rooms in here. I know you have one for birthday parties as well. That we haven't talked about.
That was another a need we found with our own struggle, because she has 4 kiddos and I had 2, and we were like, no more bouncy house birthday parties. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but there seemed to be a lack of creativity when it came to doing birthday parties. And I always struggled because my youngest was a January baby, and so, like, we couldn't do easily outdoor, in the winter. So I think the birthday party, I wish I could have had my kiddos' birthdays here. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you can have a Tinkerbar birthday, so you can have basically free range to the Tinkerbar where all of our art materials are, or you can have a birthday theme that you could choose from. So things like fairy house themes, slime making, jewelry bar, hat making bar. I'm forgetting some, but they're all on the website.
Artclub.com is officially live as of a few hours ago. And you can book your party right through there. We have 2 different packages based on what Mary Kate just said, and you get the time with the teacher, and we have a birthday party assistant too to help you with all of the cake cutting and needs. But you get to have this great, fun, lively, colorful space to have a celebration in. And then the actual birthday party room is a private room where you can have the cake and ice cream after your craft. And so it's a very memorable time. I think the parties will be here. Lots of fun.
And I was surprised with how many staff you said you already have. Can you tell me about them and where they come from and their experience?
Yeah, so I was just actually talking about this with some of our team members, because we were like, you were the early buy-in people. We have never been really in the process of ever hiring staff and having workers, and so we kind of figured all that out organically. And what we decided to do is just a simple post on Facebook after we had launched our Art Pop Facebook page, is like, looking for fun and creative teachers. And that got shared around quite a bit, because I think we offered to do coffee talks right at the Dunkin' over there.
We didn't have anybody's resume first. We met them first.
We wanted to meet them just to hear about who they are and to share, because Art Pop we didn't even have the keys to this space yet. So it was all just this idea of what we wanted to be. And so we just wanted to meet with people and share that, and hopefully have them share what they're doing right now in their lives and why they wanted to hear about it more. So that was really good way of us meeting some really awesome, cool people. And I mean, there was no discussion of what the pay would be or the exact job description. It was really just human to human, getting to know people. And we had, I think it was like 32 coffee chats in the course of 3 days with a whole slew of amazing people. And some were some familiar faces, but there are a lot of people that were like, wow, these are our people. Like, they get it. They get it. And we talked really just about our mission here. So from there, we allowed them, we quickly put up an application and allowed them to apply for the positions they were interested in. And that was it. And Mary, you want to talk a little
Well,
bit?
then the part 2 of that, we met with everybody first, and then part 2 was we put on a mock class.
Oh, so instead of having a traditional
Yeah,
interview.
it wasn't a traditional interview whatsoever. So we asked them what ages they're interested in working with, and we put together a small little program just to kind of, it was in a way an interview, but we just wanted to see how they interacted with the kids. And so then, yeah, after we got to see that, everyone, it was...
And what was the really cool part of that too is
Mm-hmm.
I was like, please let us just get like 2 or 3 kids. 'Cause we were ready to
Yeah.
use our own kids as the mock students for the
Yeah. Oh,
teacher
yeah.
interviews. We had
think
over 100 kids sign up for the mock classes.
I mean, it wasn't the real thing either. This was just a...
I think we
beta
had just
version.
gotten the base coat of paint on the walls.
Oh,
thanks
yeah.
to
We were
our
in the
health
raw
community. And people showed up, and that
Yeah.
just proved 2 concepts to us too. Again, that one, we have these teachers that are really jiving with what our mission is and eager to teach here, but the community is responding to it too before we have much of anything yet.
Yeah.
So that was a really thrilling time, and you know, from there we kind of found a position for everyone that it ended up doing
Yeah.
that interview,
Well, 'cause you know what?
because we couldn't let any of them go.
That's what happened. We had all of the names out. Like, I want everybody to stay. They all have a
They
strength.
all had,
Yeah.
a place, and we kind of developed positions based on their skill set. And so now we have 14 team members. Because we
Want
couldn't
you all
let
to
anyone
stay.
not.
We're a big happy family.
I must say, the
It'd be
people
nice
that...
if all companies were like that.
I mean, and
Just
honestly,
hire everybody.
Just
Yeah,
hire
I know,
everyone.
we
We'll
like
create
you all.
positions for you.
Yeah.
But that goes back, harkens to I think what we're about. We're both creative people, and we are building this as we go. And
Honestly.
we're very intuitive, but we're responding to what is happening in front of us too, and,
Yeah.
and molding it around that. And I think so far it's proving to work out
Yeah.
much better than
Yeah.
if we had this concrete, won't stick in the mud idea.
Yeah.
Because some beautiful things are coming out of
Yeah.
this. Even talking today, like
Oh,
with some of
yeah.
the teachers, like these random, 'cause they're all creative people, like ideas for the space and things to do. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's going to be so much bigger than we could have ever imagined.
Yeah. I mean, the teachers' feedback, the teachers' ideas, the kids' feedback, the kids' ideas, that's what's
It's
going to make it
just-
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of you had some of your education in art as well.
I come from, I have a degree in art education and 2D fine art from Moore College of Art and Design in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I was a communications design major at Syracuse in the visual performing arts program there. So I'm a graphic designer by trade and photographer here. So that's our regular careers before this project.
Yes.
But both of us have a tendency to start little projects like this.
Yeah,
little community project. Yeah.
And this is a nonprofit
Yes,
project, and you got a grant to help you.
Yeah, so SOAM has transitioned over into a nonprofit, which we always joked it was always not for profit because we didn't make any money. But again, that's always been a big part of SOAM is supporting the local artisan and maker community. So it made sense. We made it officially a nonprofit, and with that, the grant actually was received prior to SOAM becoming a nonprofit, but it was supposed to be used by SOAM to create. It's like a creative catalyst grant. So it's a little open-ended in that. It was to create a maker space is what I originally applied for it for. And it sat on the grant money actually sat on the back burner for a bit because the vision, what I had originally, what I applied for the grant, where I was going to use it and how I was going to use it, kind of shifted a bit. And it didn't feel like the right fit anymore. And then it just, again, stars aligning, I was given permission to use it in Somerset. And so, lo and behold, these things just happened the way they did. And so, yeah,
Yep.
I had no idea last year when it was actually like this day last year, I was finishing up the grant, that this a year later would be what it turned into. So
Actually, this date seems to keep
this
coming
date
up.
is a very odd date of like significance.
Our
so.
Monday was this
Yeah.
day.
And the day we open our official grand opening next week is the first day of the first OEM market ever. So
Yeah.
it's
So the
like
June 23rd and 24th.
But I mean, this is perfect. I mean, summer's starting.
Yeah.
Parents are looking for activities
Yeah.
for their kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially with all this rain we've been getting lately too. This is a perfect thing to make it feel
what
brighter.
What are they saying? Like the next 10, 11 days, there's a chance of rain.
Yeah. And even just to beat the heat, not to come in the air conditioning the
Yeah,
heat's
that's
inevitably
true.
going to come. So.
Having lots of problems.
How much work went into converting the space into the?
Oh, well, one thing I want to say is we were truly humbled and grateful for the partnership with Horner Mills. So they actually own the plaza in the building, and they agreed to outfit the space. They put in $15,000 worth of work for us to outfit it pro bono. They've been wonderful.
They've been
like
great.
you couldn't ask for better landlords for them to do that for us. And they are also people, Deb especially, just got the idea of what we were trying to do before we even knew exactly. And like they just believed in us. So I think they saw that mission and were eager to make sure they gave us some wind in our sails to get going. But then honestly, friends, families, strangers, all have lended a hand.
Hinting a lot.
I mean, this has been an aggressive timeline. Like it was like probably almost borderline impossible.
It was, yeah.
But we just got the keys on June 1st, technically.
That is
So
quick turnaround.
Because Horner was in here, taking down some
May.
walls. Yeah, so that was till the end of May.
yeah.
Well, Horner should know what they're doing too.
That was
They're
the beauty
great.
of that, is they kind of have good resources and connections.
Yeah.
But it honestly, I've said it at the ribbon cutting, it's truly being built by the community. We could not have done this by ourselves. I don't know if we'd have a great friendship if we tried to do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this would have broken us, as humans, because it was just, we would have never slept. And so, and it's amazing. I just had to just put the call, and it's hard for me to put the call out to ask for help, but I knew I couldn't do it, just the two of us, and the people that showed up just so willingly. I'm always amazed by that. It's like, I think it almost makes me want to cry. Like, it's a beautiful thing to have the support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, it's all possible because of that. Lots of hands went into this.
So if parents or guardians want to sign their kids up for classes, what do they do?
We have a spanking new website. It's all fancy.
She made it magical. As cool as the space looks, the website in the digital world looks way awesome too.
So, and it's all nice and clearly laid out. You can go to artpopclub.com and just find what age group you're in. And honestly, we're pretty lenient with where you fit
like
into
if you
that.
have a 6 to 9, but your child is an older 9 and wants to go into the next class, like we're not
looking at IDs or anything like that. But those are just some guidelines. So you just go and find what age, and then you go from there to what day and what your interest is. If you're into fabrics, if you're into clay, and then the schedule is built on a monthly schedule. So there's pretty much mostly 4 weeks that you sign up for the class.
July and August are currently posted, and then at the end of this month we'll post September and October's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Tinker Bar again, drop-in style every day. You don't need to sign up. If you buy a pass online, you get a little bit of savings, but otherwise you can come in anytime. That's good for you.
And then I guess the other thing we should add, we kind of already know at the end of the summer, once kids go back to school, we'll shift the times and we're starting to open to other ages. So we're going to open up to seniors and adult classes
Have
too.
like special after-school programs or things.
After-school programs.
And yep. So there'll be a little bit more programming built in once school starts back up.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Anything we didn't cover or anything?
I just also want to say again, for makers or artisans who are interested in teaching a class on their own, we have this incredible space for you to utilize and reach your audience with, and there's an application right online that you can fill out. So there's a place for you here as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And come down to the new Art Pop space near the Dunkin' Donuts on Route 6 and check it out. We will see you next time on Somerset Showcase.